I'm Cal Lamat, and this is episode 4 of Rule the Waves 2 Playing as Japan. So, just to recap the strategic situation, we've won a war against Germany, during which time we captured Kiaksho Bay, and we seem to have the most tension with Russia at the moment, so they're our likely next enemy. We can't really fight the British or the Americans yet because they're much stronger than us. But we can fight the Russians, and we may, if we do win a war against them, we may be able to get Sakhalin and the Yaltan Peninsula. So that's what we're looking forward to in the next war. Now, looking at what ships we've got and what ships we're building, we've got 5 battleships. The Russians have got 12. But we're building 2 dreadnoughts, which are more powerful than any of their battleships, which will be ready in 29 months. They're being built locally. If we look at the other powers, see, we're building 2 dreadnoughts. Germans aren't building any. The British 3, the French 2, the Russians none, because Russia's a slightly backward country. The Americans 1, and the Italians 1. So it looks like Russia's the next country that we can profitably have a war against. Let's have a look to see where their ships are right now. So, as you can see, their ships are all concentrated in Northern Europe, where they've got 7 battleships, and here they've got 5 battleships, which is the same strength as us. So that's fine. We'd be happy to fight them on that basis. Hopefully we'd get a surprise attack against them, sink about half their fleet, and then when the rest of their fleet comes around, well, we can sink them too. So, but we don't want a war right now. What we want to do is we want to get these 2 battleships built. Hopefully, I'd like to have a new class of destroyers, because these destroyers have all got short range. And they've also got cramped conditions, and that means that you can't really base them outside of your home area. So I want to keep those. I want to have a new class of destroyers that I can base anywhere, and that's what my next class of destroyer will be. But unfortunately, I can't build them until I can have larger destroyers, because at the moment, the largest destroyer I can have is only 600. If I try and get that up to 700, it says you cannot build destroyers of this displacement. Looking at research, one thing that I very much want is steam turbines, because that makes my ships go a lot faster. I don't have them next at the moment, but I will hopefully be getting them next. So let's play the game. The Germans want to sell us ship design main battery wing turrets. Yes, we'll have that. Generally speaking, all technology is good technology, so it's best to have as much as you can. And we've got bigger destroyers, that's excellent. And we've got better torpedoes, that's also very good. And Britain is hosting an international regatta and sail race. Let's go for the win. Better torpedoes again. And Russia has laid down their first battleship. Let's have a look at that on the almanac. It's 1930 tons, which is slightly heavier than ours. So it's probably a slightly better ship than us, but they've only got 1 and we're building 2. We need the best technology money combined. That's steam turbines, which is a very good one. Excellent, that is steam turbines. Now that we've got steam turbines, we can reduce our machinery development, so that gives more priority to other things. And I'll just note that we've got light forces and torpedo technology up to maximum, so that's good. We've boosted our industrial production. A strong arms industry is the foundation of a strong navy. I love it. And that's given us a bit of extra money. These 2 destroyers will be completing soon, and when they've completed, we can build a new class of destroyers that will be faster and better. So those two destroyers are commissioned. An uprising in China makes it necessary to send an expeditionary force. A strong force increases prestige and tension. A multinational force does nothing. And keeping out of foreign adventures reduces tension. Well, we don't care about tension at the moment. And we can always have more prestige. Generally speaking, once prestige rises above 30, we don't really need to care about it much. But we still need to take it into account at the moment. So let's design a destroyer. Now that's only got 2 torpedo tubes. Right, what I'm going to do, the first thing is put engine priority onto speed. I know that our accommodation is normal and range is medium, which is what we want. That has a weight remaining of 53, but if we build it in Britain, that gets 60, which is slightly better. So I think we may build it in Britain. In terms of mounts, let's put some extra mounts on there. That's now got 4 torpedo tubes. That's still got enough weight remaining. Can we build more of these guns? No, we can't. What about putting one in W position? We can't put it in W position either. No. But we can put some. So we've got 2 4-inch guns, 2 3-inch guns, 4 torpedo tubes, and a speed of 30 knots. That looks to be a pretty decent design. So we're going to be building that. Now, so let's build that one. Does that work? Yes, it does. Go to build screen. How many can we build? We'll build 5 to start off with. And we're going to change the names of those. So we're giving our destroyers anonymous names because we kind of think of them as anonymous ships. Oh, they're being built in Germany. Okay, I didn't realise that was Germany. I did thought I had them built in Britain, but Germany's fine as long as we don't get into a war with them, which we're not going to. So that should be okay. So that's those 5 ships being built. When they're built, we can think about more. The government wants to reduce naval spending. We can either increase tension, reduce budget, or reduce budget and tension. Well, if we're going to reduce budget, we might as well reduce tension at the same time. That's a bit of a problem, but we can manage with a little less money for a while. Russia has commissioned a armoured cruiser. Russia's commissioned 2 ships, a battleship and a light cruiser. And we've got new docks. And the Germans have got a battleship with 4 11-inch guns. It's not a particularly good battleship. It's a semi-dreadnought with 9-inch guns, a heavy secondary battery. And we're going to build bigger docks. We've got the blueprints for the Italian ship Ancona, which has got 10 5-inch guns. It's a fairly bog standard light cruiser. And we've now got a new research area, amphibious operations. There's been an internal upheaval in Iceland. We don't care. It's a long way away from us. If France wants to have Iceland, good luck to them. A colonial crisis with Russia has arisen. We must safeguard our interests. Budget up, prestige up, tension up. Best to avoid a war right now, but prepare for future concepts. That's what I'm going to do. I don't want a war just this minute, but I do want a war in the future. And I note that these destroyers are all very close to building. Let's just have a look at that design. That's a 1 we've built in Germany. With Britain it will be a 9, slightly better. France is worse. America's okay. The best place to build destroyers is probably in Britain. If we did build it locally, we'd have to cut down on a light gun. But if we built something like that in Britain, we could conceivably, let's see if we could have. No, we couldn't have those two extra 4-inch guns, but we could have. We could have an extra 3-inch gun, which is worth having. So I'll put that in for the next group of destroyers when these have finished. We need that technology. We always need as much technology as we can get. Handle it quietly and discreetly. We don't want a war with Germany. Now this gives us cross-deck fire, which allows us staggered wing turrets, which would allow us to have 5 turrets on our next battleship, should we choose to do so. But we're somewhere away from building our next battleship. Let's build another destroyer. Let's have this one in the United Kingdom. So we're going to build this in Britain, and we're going to give it an extra 3-inch gun. But otherwise, it will be exactly the same. And we're going to call that the ISO Burrow, because it's built in Britain. This ship will be ordered in a foreign yard. Yes, we know. And that will be ready next go. And we've already got 2 of them in service. So the next one will be called ISO 6. Well, we always want good understanding with France. We certainly don't want a war with them right now. So let's rename low, and let's play our next move. Small tube boilers and control tops. Oh, we've got torpedo protection 1, or we may be getting torpedo protection 1 soon. That will be what we will very much want in our next battleships. In fact, we might build Battlecruisers for our next lot. Yes, we should extend our security agreement with Italy. And we need the technology. We always need technology. We need turrets and gun mounters, improved hoists. That makes our turrets fire faster. Control tops. Go for the win. New docks. Build more docks. We need the technology. Better torpedoes. They can now do 28 knots for 1,000 yards, 15 knots for 3,000 yards. Torpedo aiming system. That will work in well with our new destroyers, which have got 4 torpedo tubes. So let's have a look at this new Russian dreadnought. Now this has got 10 guns. It's only got a broadside of 8 guns, whereas ours has got a broadside of 6 guns. And we're building 2 of them, whereas I think they're only getting 1. We're just going to check to see that they're only building 1. Yeah, they've got these 3 here, and they're all going to go. Oh, they're all in the same class. Okay, so their dreadnoughts are better than ours, and they're building more of them, which is a bit of a shame, but that's life, really, isn't it? We'll just have to charge loads and loads of destroyers at them and sink them with torpedoes. A strong navy is the guarantee of peace, but it must be coupled with careful diplomacy. Do we? Oh, we've got an improved turret. We're getting an improved turret. This enables all firing if we've got access to oil. So do we have access to oil? Let's have a look. Oil, no. Who does have oil? Germany, no. Britain, yes. France, no. Russia, yes. USA, yes. Italy, no. But we don't have oil. So our battleships are almost ready to build. It would be good now to have a look at building our next class of battleships. So, if we build them locally, that's got a weight remaining of 453. Germany will be 592. Britain 680. France not very good. So in terms of weight saving, Britain is the best. Who has torpedo defences? Britain does. Germany does. We really want a ship with torpedo defences because that way if it gets torpedoed, it's less likely to sink. Everyone does except us. So let's build it in Britain provisionally. Let's see what turrets they've got. They've got 13-inch guns, quality -2, and 12-inch guns, quality 1. That's good. And Germany has got 12-inch -1. France has 12-inch 1 and 13 -2. USA 12-inch quality -1. Italy has 12-inch -1. So we're going to go for Britain because we've got better guns. Quality 1. Now let's have a look what quality the secondary armour British guns have. 6 inches quality 1. These guns here can fire both sides. Oops. Can we? Right, so that's probably a reasonable design for that wants to be 6-inch. That wants to be 4-inch. So, looking at this, it would be nice to have 12-inch armour. Anything more than that is not really very useful. We're going to have more torpedo tubes. Britain can build up to 24, so let's put that up to 24 to see what we can afford in terms of size. As before, we're going to reduce belt extended and deck extended to nothing. In terms of deck armour, there's no point in having more than 2 inches. And I think we'll give 3 inches for our secondaries. That gives us a weight remaining of 900, but we're quite slow. It's quite a slow ship. I really want to build, for this time, I want to build Battlecruisers. So what can we skimp on? Well, we can skimp on armour a little bit. That gives us 26 knots. I think we may go with that as it is. I'd actually like more than this number of secondary guns. I think I might get rid of these two turrets, and that would allow me to increase the belt armour and the number of secondary guns. I think I'm going to do that. Right, so let's make this 12 inches. 12 inches, we've got 2.5. 12 inches. And we'll have as many as we can. And does it like that? It can have a maximum of 36 guns, and it's got less torpedo protection than technology allows. So let's give ourselves the maximum torpedo protection. Take that gun down a little and see if it likes it now. That thinks everything's okay. Can we have an extra knot of speed? We'll have an extra knot of speed, and I think that's about everything we can do on that. Makes things a lot heavier. So I think that's about as good as we're going to get on that. So we're going to call this ship the Katori. And that will take 4 months. And while we're doing that, we'll build another destroyer. So we're set to build 2 new Battlecruisers, which will be 27 knots. Let's look at the speed of the Russian ships, which are, well, we don't know what their speed's going to be yet, but it'll be less than 27 knots because they're battleships. That's fine by me. Yeah, the way this game works, it's quite weird the way it sometimes assigns things as battleships and some on battle cruisers. It goes primarily on weight, but it also goes by the thickness of the belt armor. I think it's because I had 12-inch belt armor on these, it decided to call them battleships. German ship has got 8 12-inch guns, so that's a broadside of 8 guns, but it's got much less thick armour than us. Our armour is such that we should be impervious to enemy gun fire. Mozambique, where's that? Because we don't care. Germany wants to have Mozambique, good luck to them. The Prime Minister's made an ill-considered statement about Great Britain. Well, we want to stay in with the Brits because they're building a lot of our ships. So we really want to do this one to explain the quote was taken out of context. It reduces our prestige, but it gives us a bit of extra budget, which is good because we're building 2 ships. Build string Katori. Yeah, we can't really afford more to build 2 battleships right now. So we're just going to build 1 battleship, and the rest will go into destroyers. And now let's play our next move. Let's see where the Russians are right now. The Russians are still building their 3 ships, whereas we've got our 2 in service. So they're going to get theirs fairly soon. Our ships they've finished working up. So our ships are in a good state. So if we could have a war with Russia soon, that would be, if we could have one right now, that would be ideal. Russians have got 5 battleships in Northeast Asia, and they've got 7 battleships in Northern Europe. So yeah, we would very much like to have a war with Russia right now, if we can. So that means anything that we can do that increases tension, we will do. Best technology money can buy. We need that technology. We've already got agreements with Britain and with Italy, so we don't need one with Russia as well. Tension minus, tension plus, and budget plus as well. That's excellent. Gives us torpedo protection 1, build ship. So we're building lots of destroyers, 1 battleship. These destroyers are going to be built soon. And let's hope we can have a war with Russia soon. We've increased our invasion capability. Let's see what range we can invade over. Well, we could already invade the 2 Russian provinces. We can't invade that one yet, but we don't really care about that one yet. We just care about Lato Peninsula and Sakhalin. So let's press on. Let's have a look where the Russians are in terms of ships. They built these 2, and they're building another 2. So we both have now 2 dreadnoughts. The Russians are building 2 and I'm building 1. Theirs are bigger than mine, but who cares? Look at that. Their secondary armament is only 3-inch guns. That's very, very poor. That means that they will be quite vulnerable to my destroyers. In the event of a war, what I'm going to try and do. Now, superimposed X turret. That means we can have a superimposed turret at the back of the ship now. That means we can have 2 turrets firing directly backwards. That's very good to have. We've got much more balance now. I'm not sure whether to build more destroyers or whether to save up for another battleship. If we wait for those destroyers to finish, we'll have a budget of 3,500. Sorry, a spare of 3,500, which is enough for a battleship. So I think we're actually going to build another battleship. I'm going to give it 2 more months for these 2 to get down to 4 months. Yes, we should extend it. Our ship should have the best technology money can buy. And I think it's time for a new battleship. Let's have a look what we can build in Britain. What we could do is we could have a battlecruiser. We could reduce this armour here. We don't have aircraft yet, but they do come in handy later on in the game, particularly for things like battlecruisers, because battlecruisers are generally used in a reconnaissance role. So that's what our new ship is going to be called, and we'll call this the Kashima. So that's the Kashima. We'll be able to start building that in 4 moves when these destroyers are ready. So we'll have 2 fast ships. Always need good technology. Go to the build screen, Kashima, yes. So we're building 2 ships. One of them will be ready in 12 months and another one slightly longer than that, another year after that. And I think what we'll do when this destroyer's finished, our next destroyers will be a new class, if we can build one. Now this gives us 4 centerline turrets. Our next ships will probably have 4 turrets in. And we can increase the size of our docks. Let's have a look at our submarines. Now we've got a load of subs that we didn't build at the end of the last war. If we build all those, we'll give those about 2 or 3 months. I don't want them to finish building because when they're finished building, you have to pay the 20 a month to keep them in use. Whereas if they're in the middle of building, you don't have to pay anything for that. So what we'll do is we'll make them a bit closer to being built without going all the way. I will just put a halt to some of those ships. A new cruiser from Germany. Gives us budget but costs us prestige. That does nothing. And we don't want potential Germany. So if you want to know why we don't have a ship like that, just ask the politicians. And I've put all these submarines, they're no longer building. So we'll go back to looking at our main construction page. The Katori is going to be finished fairly soon. What's the situation with Russia? They've got 3 and they're building 2. All of the same class. Oh, and they're building a load of BCs as well. Well, that means we definitely want a war sooner rather than later. How can they afford so much? Yeah, they've got much more budget than us. That's the problem. We've got such a low budget. Oh well. It'll be a target-rich environment, won't it? Join an international squadron to contain the violence. Gives us more budget. And I think we could do a bit of prestige. And let's see. Well, this one's soon to be built. So I'm going to let that be built, and then I'm going to look into building a new warship. It might revolutionise naval warfare. We need that technology. We always need technology. Double torpedo tube rounds. That's very good. We will be building some more destroyers. This looks like a decent design. It's got 5 torpedo tubes. It's got 2 4-inch guns of quality 1. That's a good quality gun. And a 3-inch gun is also quality 1. It's got a speed of 32. It's got decent range and accommodation. It's a displacement of 900. So I think we're going to call that the Jaguar. And let's see what that says. Yes, 900. So that's for some destroyers. And also we're going to be building another battlecruiser or battleship. Go to the build screen. And that's the Jaguar destroyers just starting. So we've got some more money now, so let's build a battlecruiser. In terms of firepower, it would be nice if we could have thicker deck armour. I'm not sure if we can get that though. Oh, let us have thicker deck armour. Am I still having these 3 aircraft? I'll put that down to 2. And I think that's pretty much everything, isn't it? Make that 2.5. I think that's about as good as it's going to get. We've got plenty of secondary guns. Can we increase these? No, 36. So that's as many tertiary guns as we can have. So this is what our next ship will be. The Satsuma. So that will be ready ready to start building in 4 months' time. It's a little slower than the Kashima, but it's better armed and better armoured. One of our cruisers has run around on the shore of a minor nation. Increases prestige, decreases prestige, we're not going to do that. And increases tension. This is what we need to do. Should we push for an international force? No, it's Britain. We don't want to raise tensions with Britain. France has laid down 2 ships, or laid down 1 and commissioned 1, and we'll build this Satsuma. And it's decided to call it Koma, because I'm guessing the name Satsuma was originally taken. Let's have a look at Russia. They've now got 3 battleships, and they're building 5 battlecruisers, which is a lot. hopefully they'll be crap designs. The Russians often build them with fairly light armour, which makes them easy prey for our guns. And then we've got 3, and we're going to build another 2. The Russians have got 3, but they're building loads. But a war right now will go really well. So I'm going to break off them now, but it seems that our strategy is the same as it was. We need to increase our shipping and at the same time hope for a war with Russia fairly soon. So that's me, Cabalamat, breaking off this episode. Bye for now.